Professor William Maxwell ayaa sidoo kale hadal dheer halkaasi ka jeediyay isagoo sheegay in
Maxwell, live to Maxwell, loudly my friends, live to blessing to as you know, Professor Dr. William Maxwell has been Professor of Barack Obama in Harvard University, and this is a great blessing and big opportunity and big honor for us that the great professor who has taught in 21 countries in all the top universities in the world, including Harvard, Oxford and Cambridge, and who has been the teacher of Barack Obama in Harvard University and Indira Gandhi in Fiji University. Actually, in Fiji University, he did not taught Indira Gandhi, but Fiji University offered honorary degree to Indira Gandhi, and Professor William Maxwell was the coordinator, and he prepared all the paperwork for that. Perhaps he is the king of education. 75 years he taught in different schools, colleges and universities. Even he started teaching in the age of 9, because when he was 9 years old, he used to teach children of his area as a fun. I mean, he is by birth teacher. So now I don't want to let him stand for a long time. So please, with great applause, I will request Professor Dr. William Maxwell to come to the stage. Now I will request Dr. Chris Maxwell, who is clearly not as efficient as Dr. Maxwell, but next to Dr. Maxwell. So please, Dr. Chris, come to the stage with great applause. And I will request Dr. Chris' friend, who has come to see Professor Maxwell from Newcastle, to come to the stage, please. Now I will request my uncle and a very respectful our colleague to come to the stage, please. I will also request the second director of Best Tutors, my wife, Mrs. Taira Mahmouda, to come to the stage, please. She is hidden director, so hardly you see her. And when you see, she covers her face so that you can't see. If the world record holder, student Salal Almas is here, and Unaisa, the second world record holder, if they are somewhere, please come to the stage. I will request my great relative and also guest from Bradford to come to the stage, please. Uncle. There are seats right in front of the stage, so I will request the teachers to occupy these seats. And also, Yasser, please, if you bring some more chairs to the stage. Now I will request the guests, please sit on the stage so that the official ceremony should be started. Now, by grace of Allah, Best Tutor is holding 4 world records, 4 distinguished world records. Previously, Britain was holding the record of 14 GCSEs A-star. Our student Talal Almas, probably he is absent today, he made new world record by achieving 26 GCSEs, 22 A-stars, 4 A's. All renowned from 14 to 26. The first world record was made in 2011 when one of our students, Zulfikar Mansoor Ali, did 35 A-levels. The British record was 7 A-levels. As you know, that to go to normal university, you have to do 3 A-levels. For good universities, 4 A-levels. For Oxford or Cambridge, the best universities, 5 or 6 A-levels. The British record was 7 A-levels A-star. So Zulfikar Mansoor Ali jumped from 7 to 35 A-levels, straightway. The second world record was made by Talal Almas, 26 GCSEs. The third record was made also by Talal Almas. In the first year college, he did 9 A-levels and he achieved all A-stars, 9 A-stars in the first year. Normally, A-level is done in 2 years. Also, in 4 A-levels, he got full 100% in 24 papers. Normally, you know, an error is to human. Very intellectual people sometimes make just human errors. But by grace of Allah, in all 24 papers, Talal Almas did not make any single mistake. The fourth record was made by our student Onaisa Naim. She did 13 GCSEs A-star and 1 A in the age of 14. And now this year, 2 of our students are clearly making world records, 2 more world records. One is Talal Almas, who is doing another 9 A-levels, and hopefully he will get all 9 A-stars. And I have offered him £50,000 scholarship if he will get 9 A-levels A-stars. So all together, there will be 18 A-levels A-star. In a similar way, Unaisa is doing another 10 GCSEs. So altogether, after this exam, in the age of 15, she will get 15 GCSEs, 23 GCSEs A-star and 1 A. So at the moment, Talal Almas is here, please, with big applause. He is holding 2 world records, and in this June, the result is coming in August. By grace of Allah, he will be holding 3rd world record and £50,000. Already I have offered him 10,000 because of the 2 world records. Also, Manaisa will make 2nd world record by achieving 23 GCSEs A-star 1A. And she has already got 5,000, so she will be offered another 5,000. Also, thank you very much. This year, probably there will be 1 more world record. My son Saifullah has already done 9 GCSEs, and if he will get all 9 A stars, already he is holding 4 GCSEs, 2 A star, 2 A. If he will complete all, if he will do all 9 GCSEs A star in year 8, that will be another world record. Otherwise, in November, he will definitely break the world record of UNISA. So by grace of Allah, you know, in the British Parliament, I clearly made announcement in my speech on 12 May that by grace of Allah, from now onward, only best tutor students will be able to break or make new world records. No one else will be able to be best tutors. So these achievements have not been obtained only by Dr. Nazir, but for these achievements, my staff is equally partner. My family is equally partner. All you guys and parents are equally partner, because in throughout Best Tutors journey, your cooperation has been with us. So no single man can do something special. There are some people like Professor William Maxwell, but clearly Dr. Nazir can't do alone all these achievements. And also, along with these achievements, by grace of Allah, you know, today Ambassador of Somalia was here to give official invitation to visit Somalia. Why? Because Somalian government wants to get help in education from me. 2 days before, I'm sure not from me, from Best Tutors. Okay? From Best Tutors. All of you. And 2 days before, President of Muslim League, Mr. Zubair Gul, came to see me with one of his friends to give official invitation from Government of Pakistan to do the same thing to help the Government of Pakistan in education. Also, 2 days before, we got call from Oman. As you know, on award ceremony in the British Parliament, there were 14 guests from Oman to attend our ceremony. So while they went back, when they went back, they talked loudly and big talk about Best Tutors. So the personal secretary of Sheikh Adel, who is Director of Health in Oman, she phoned and she pleaded Dr. Kamal to send Dr. Aman even for 1 day, so that the government wants to discuss for health projects and for education. So by grace of Allah, this is a big pride. And yesterday, Dr. Adil, who is the friend of Governor of Punjab, Chaudhry Muhammad Sarwar, he phoned me personally that Governor of Punjab, Chaudhry Muhammad Sarwar, wants to see me as soon as possible. So I clearly said that I have already made arrangements to go to Somalia to see the President and to help improve education over there. So I will accept the invitation of Punjab government, Pakistan government and Oman after I finish the visit of Somalia. Also, as you know, that I visited Azad Kashmir, my country, from 19 up to 2nd of June. So by grace of Allah, in this short time, the government of Azad Kashmir, Prime Minister himself just handed over the system of education of Kashmir to me to upgrade, and Alhamdulillah, 1 week I spent to upgrade the system of 3 schools. Why? Because in that short time I could not jump throughout Azad Kashmir. Perhaps I upgraded 3 schools, and continuously, even every morning after prayer, I just phone there and just get feedback and give new instructions. So Alhamdulillah, by grace of Allah, with your cooperation, with your efforts, all of the staff, all of the parents, all of the children, students, Best Tutor is getting such high name and standards that inshallah we will be able to change the history of education in the world. By the blessed personality in education of Professor Maxwell, we will soon open projects, charitable educational projects in Somalia and Nigeria. And soon after, these projects will be spreaded by blessing of Allah throughout Africa. So, to be honest, I tell you the truth, with hard work, you guys are not just changing your future, but you are capable of changing the future of the world. So all of you promise to put day and night together, work hard for humanity, work hard for the future of the world, not just for your own immediate future. Why? Because we have to live for the world. We have to live for the peace in the world. We have to eliminate the war from the world. Also, inshallah, best tutor will help in Africa to eliminate the hunger and thirst by opening projects for water. Alhamdulillah, by help of one big charity, Ibadah, best tutor has already worked hard to open 9 boreholes. From each borehole, 100,000 people are drinking water. Although best tutor helped only in one, but that project was appreciated by Somali community throughout the world in such a way that the Somali TV channels, Royal TV, Universal TV, Somali National TV, and which is the fourth one? What's the name of the fourth one? Somali channel, and also the printed media, they helped to raise money for 9 more projects. So Alhamdulillah, 900,000 people are drinking water from these boreholes. So I'm telling this example, that if you just do little bit for goodness, God just spreads it more. So inshallah, if we will open one school in Somalia and one in Nigeria, I'm pretty sure that these projects will be upgraded and will be spread very, very soon by blessing of Allah, as it has happened already. In a similar way, inshallah, soon we will spread education, the best international standard education in Pakistan at low cost of poor people. Because the standard will be high, so in every school there will be double system, that rich people will pay, poor people will get scholarship. Also, maybe many people don't know about stem cell therapy. Stem cell therapy is a very new technique to treat cancer. So best tutor is working with very very close collaboration with Germany and China to upgrade the technology and to provide it to Dubai, Oman and Pakistan. Unfortunately, in Britain, because of ethical reason, this research is not allowed. So we can't research in Britain, so we have to research in Germany and in China. In stem cell therapy, the pioneer is Spain. The second country is Germany, and the third is China. So the biggest scientist of Germany in stem cell therapy is Dr. Oliver. We are working in close relationship with Dr. Oliver, and at the moment to provide stem cell therapy for one patient from Germany to Dubai, it costs 90,000 pounds. This therapy is so polite, so kind and so nice that only with one injection, like a normal injection, the person is treated. And the surprising thing is, I tell you, what is stem cell therapy? You know the umbilical cord between the mom and the child, that contains a blood. That blood is stored and processed, and that is called stem cell. So after a special procedure, that is injected, and one injection can remove all sort of cancers. So this will be a pride to best tutors that we are providing this stem cell therapy technology to 4 different countries, at the moment 3 different countries in the world. 2, we are working very close for Dubai and Oman, but in Pakistan we will provide soon. But the problem is, to provide in Pakistan there is a big hindrance. Why? Because existing chemotherapy, the people who are holding this chemotherapy, they will not allow us to introduce in Pakistan easily. Why? Because their billions of technology will be rubbish if stem cell therapy is introduced. And probably in Britain the same reasons are there, that they don't want to destroy their existing technology, so they are making excuses of ethical grounds that the research on human cells in Britain is not allowed. As you know, umbilical cord is just wasted if it is not used. So these are not the, we are not taking the cells from the live person, but these are the disposable cells. But still, the research is not allowed. So now I don't want to be a wall between you and Professor Maxwell. So please, with big cheers, welcome Professor William Maxwell. Live 2. Say Maxwell. Live 2. Maxwell. Live 2. Maxwell. Blessing 2. Maxwell. Blessing 2. Maxwell.
Dr. Christian Imafidan, Mr. Tony Nuisi, distinguished members of the community here of best tutors, parents, students. I was honored a few days ago in a way that I did not expect. All my life I have looked for angels and saints, and I rarely see them. 2 days ago I met one right here, in this place. I don't know if you know how to recognize a saint when you see one. They're very rare, but you're living in the presence of one, at least one. Dr. Nazir Ahmed has all the qualities that we associate with the nobility of character that Plato predicted would, in fact, change the world. And I was honored to meet him, to be in his presence, and I was enriched spiritually thereby. He called me the president of education. No, I'm a servant of education. The president of education. Did you call me king or president? No, I'm neither. The king of education is Dr. Imafidan. He did what I dreamed about, transforming the Bible, the Quran, the Bhagavad Gita, all the holy books into reality. Dr. Imafidan, somewhere around age 6, I believe, decided that he would be a great father. And he decided to sacrifice his own distinguished possible career to devote to his children. And all of his children, all 5, have achieved outstanding academic success because of his sacrifice. So if I'm the servant of education, he is the president of education. And Dr. Ahmed, Dr. Imafidan proved the theory that I've been living with all my life, Dr. Imam proved the theory that all children are potential geniuses, and he proved it with 100% success, all 5 of his children. But guess what? This school, this very school, Best Tutors, has beaten the record of Dr. Imam. Therefore, you have to acknowledge you must acknowledge, the world hopefully will soon acknowledge, that the emperor of education is Dr. Nazir Ahmed. And you will help that truth to be known worldwide. I have visited schools in over 60 countries, around the world, every continent. 6.5 years in Nigeria, 6.5 years in Fiji, 11 years in Korea, many years in America, Switzerland, England. We've lived everywhere, my wife and I. And never have I seen a school with higher intensity of loving knowledge. So my job this afternoon, I'll take 20 minutes. I will share with you a few of the secrets that I've been able to glean from Dr. Imam and that I just learned this week from your distinguished Dr. Ahmed. Let me begin. The first secret of great parenting is God. The world begins with God. His Holiness Muhammad pointed out that the Quran begins with B, and B begins with a dot, and that dot begins the universe. And precisely that's how the universe began. It is God, Bismillah, that began the universe. Every great person that my students at the University of Advancing Technology in Arizona studied, that was a course, a required course for every student, or Da Vinci, or Einstein, or Freud, or so on. But in every single case, 90 students of mine, every 3 times a year, for 6 years they would study great persons. So, judging from their my students' study, and Dr. Imam, all greatness begins with God. God is there. The second greatest psychologist was so enamored of that concept that he wrote it over his door up above Zurich, in Switzerland, in German. And the words were these. This is Carl Jung, the second greatest psychologist of history. Called or not called, God is near. And how does God manifest himself to you and to me and to every other human? 1,000 different ways, but primarily in the history through dreams. Every great event in history is preceded by some powerful dream. The last 14 chapters of the first book of the Bible deals with Joseph and his dreams. Joseph, a Jewish boy, becomes the first prime minister of Egypt because of his ability to understand dreams. Martin Luther King's speech ends with, I have a dream. God speaks to you in your dreams. You have a dream for your child. You have a dream for your child. You must translate that dream into your actions, into the reality that your child is created in the image of God. Those actions are, let us learn from Dr. Imam. First thing, he is not the hero in his family. His wife is. His wife was smart enough to choose a husband who would devote himself to the education of her children. She is the real hero in the family. But when he was 6, I'll bet you my last fortune, which I don't have anymore. I bet you that somewhere around age 6, he decided, way back then, This is the idealist stage. All those 6-year-old children dream. They dream of greatness. They wish to be a hero. And often the parents assist. And Dr. Imam was very fortunate. His father, I now learn, his father encouraged him to dream. So he decided about 50 years ago that he's going to be a great father. Your child dreams of being great in some domain. Your job is to help him. So Mrs. Imam, Dr. Imam fulfilled their dream. When I look in their faces, I see great happiness. The happiest face I've ever seen in all of history, in all of my 85 years of living, the happiest faces I've ever seen are the faces of parents whose children honor them by achieving distinction. Your job then, mother, your job then, father, is to continually look into the faces of your children and find out where their dreams are. And those children that you have begin dreaming about a future at age 2. Beginning at age 2, they worry, what should I do in life? What is my true calling? And your job is to help them. The Imam children were tutored on the computer probably beginning at age 2. What was it, Dr. Imam? When did you start teaching them the computer? 18 months or 20 months? 18 months. 18 months he started teaching his children the computer. Children are extraordinarily intelligent. They will send to you signals all the time. Dad, watch me build blocks. I'm thinking about becoming an architect or a builder. If the dad is intelligent, if he has made up his mind that he wants to devote his life to his children, he runs out and buys more blocks, Lego blocks, other kinds of building blocks, to encourage the child's natural impulse to manifest his genius. Another child will say to his mother, like Einstein said to his mother, Mother, this is what Albert Einstein said to his mother by body language. Mother, you notice that whenever you put on Mozart, I listen very intently. I listen because Mozart helps me to understand my ability to predict what note comes next. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. He knew that when Mozart played a piece, he knew before Mozart knew what note was coming next. And he expressed that in great joy in his face by saying, Mozart and I think alike. And so the mother went out and bought every Mozart record. Intelligent parents watch their children. There are many, many qualities that the Imamidans have that I want to talk further about briefly. The father communicates his dream to his children. The mother insists upon a moral thought process. The mother teaches morals, the father teaches intellect. All the children are good in the intellectual things, math and science. That's because of the father. All the children are very, very polite and thoughtful. That's because of the mother. You know, in psychology we say that all children beginning about age 13 or 14 rebel. No, they don't. Children rebel when their parents have not done a good job. If your child is rebelling, it means that you better look at what you've done to the child. Did you spend 4 hours, 4 times a day, did you talk to your child? When you sat down at night, did you talk with your child? Deuteronomy in the Bible, Deuteronomy chapter 6, verses 6, 7, and 8, reminds the father, your child will not rebel against you, father, if You speak of these things when thou rise, quote, when thou risest up, when thou sittest in thine house, when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down. The Bible and the Quran give great advice to the fathers. Talk with your child. Tell your child what you're thinking. Ask the child difficult questions. Another trick or tip that the Mohammedan family illustrates. The Bible begins our species, human species, with a statement. You were created in the image of God. You are an image of God. You are created in His image and likeness. And the Mohammedans continually reminded their children, you know, you're created in the image of God. Therefore, you are capable of great creativity. You're created to be perfect. In psychology, we did an experiment. We did an experiment with mice. One group of PhD students were given a group of white mice. This is not stem cell research, but it's very similar. You took two groups of mice that are identical genetically. One group of mice was given to a bunch of students, PhD students, and said, your job is to see how well these mice learn to run the maze. Just record how well these mice run the maze. Another group of students were given the same genetic stock of mice and said, your job is to see how fast these mice can learn to run the maze. And by the way, your mice were bred for brilliance. They're more brilliant than any other mice. So the graduate students did their experiment, did their calculations, did their recording, and guess what happened? This group of mice learned to run the maze in X time, but this group of mice learned X minus 10% time. This is called the self-fulfilling prophecy, the Pygmalion effect. So what the Mohammedans said every day to their children, every day they said to their children, you're brilliant, you're a genius, you can learn this problem, you can learn the computer before you're age 3, you're a genius, you're created in the image of God. And guess what? The children believed it. And the world will believe it. Say to your child every day, I love you. You're created in the image of God. When I look into your eyes, I see God. When I look into your face, I see the face of God. I love you. You are a genius. You're creative. There are many other secrets. Time runs out. I can't list them all here. I'm sure Dr. Mohammedan and Dr. Ahmed will give you some publications telling you where you might look for more. But let me now summarize what I learned from Dr. Ahmed. Ask a typical Jew or Christian, how many commandments are there in the Bible? How many commandments are there, lady, in the Bible? 10. How many? 10. Yes, there are 10 in the Bible, but Jesus added one more. Jesus added one more. He said, and now I give you a new commandment, that ye love one another. The moment you walk into this building, you sense the love that Dr. and Mrs. Ahmed have suffused this place with. They love their children. They love their staff. They love their faculty. And that faculty loves your children. It's amazing, the power of love. Many years ago, when I was in Fiji, at the University of the South Pacific in Suva, There was no research going on at the university. So I said to the Vice Chancellor, Dr. Mirage, we need to bring to Suva the greatest minds of the world. So I asked around the world, all my colleagues at different universities, who are the greatest minds in the world? And the names were two that stood out among all others, plus Edward de Bono of this country. Maturana in Chile. He began academic life as a biologist, and then he became a philosopher. And his ultimate book is called The Biology of Love. And here is his essential point. Do you want to improve the world? Do so through your children. Every great invention, every great discovery, every great development in human history has been the result of love. And now I give you a new commandment that ye love one another. You feel that in this institution. The other one was Umberto Eco of Italy, the great scholar. Umberto Eco's point was, when you love, you communicate. You communicate. Every night when you sit around the table, you communicate to your child. What did you learn today? What were the problems you faced today? Let's see if we can find a better way to solve those problems. Did you run into a bully? Let's talk about how you solved that one. And lo and behold, the research evidence was done right here in Great Britain, in Scotland. The family that talks together, the family that communicates, the family that plans together, is the family that succeeds. Every night. What's your plan, son? Which university are you planning to attend? What are you going to study? Let's talk about it. If you're going to study physics, there are only 20 universities in the world that are first rate in physics. Where are you going? Are you going to be a medical doctor? There are only about 20 universities that are really first rate. Let's talk about those universities. That is love. You and I are blessed. You and I are blessed in that we have glimpsed the future. Dr. Imafidon has pointed the way to a future in which every child is guided by loving parents. Dr. Ahmad has shown us the future by saying every school must dramatize a fundamental principle of life. All of life depends upon the love that exists among the humans. I'm honored. I have seen the future. I have seen the future, Martin Luther King. Dr. Martin Luther King, I wish you would listen to me for a moment. Dr. King, listen to me, please. You saw the future. You saw America in which we would give up our racism and elect a black man to be president. You saw that. I did not see that. Nobody saw that. But Dr. King, you saw it. I want to tell you, Dr. King, what I see. I see in this institution Muslims embracing Christians. I see Christians embracing Jews. I see Jews embracing Buddhists. I see Buddhists loving Hindus. I have seen the future, and it is right here at Best Tutors. Thank you.
Now I will invite Dr. Chris Imafidon to advise, to give some pieces of advice to parents how to upgrade their children for a better future. So with big applause, Dr. Please step in and please.
It's a very difficult man to follow. We haven't just had Professor Maxwell speak, especially when I know that he's been not just speaking and teaching, but he's been doing it at the highest possible level. So I want to thank you, Sir Nazia. I want to say, Sir Maxwell, I'm always very delighted to hear you speak because you inform and you educate. But if you, even though someone is operating at that level, it's always very difficult to follow. What more can I say to somebody that has been teaching at the university level since 1954? So I was not even born, so you have to listen very carefully. But I want to thank all the parents that are here because I know that you have extra interest in your son or your daughter. That's why after work Monday through to Friday, you still have time to devote to additional support for them. And I want every student to realize this. I don't know what you're thinking of doing, every boy, every girl to realize this one fact, very serious fact, that the school system assists you to achieve mediocrity. I mean, at the very best, any school will help you achieve mediocrity. If you must bring out the best in you, you must put in the extra effort to get yourself into excellence. And to achieve excellence requires those two things. One, your conviction. That means you're sure that nobody will tell you that you cannot do a subject. Because when I came to Sanazia in 1998, I came with my daughters. Everybody had told them that girls cannot do maths. That boys do maths and girls do English. And Sanazia set out to debunk that thinking by treating the boys and the girls in the same intellectual capacity. He did not look down on my girls to say that, oh, girls cannot do maths, girls have to do English. Sanazia encouraged my first girl, my eldest girl, Amari, to love maths. Not just do maths, but love it. You know what I mean by loving something? That means do maths every single day for a very brief period of time. And therefore, she improved her math scores. And then from there, she dominated her class. You know what it means to dominate? Not just improve, but get the top marks every single test. So up to the extent that she was able to write her GCSE maths then, remember in 1998, in primary 6, in the school where the government thought that the schools in that area were low. Waltham Forest was a poor performing borough when Amari was there. And listen to this, the educational level in Waltham Forest was so poor that they closed down the education department and gave it to a private enterprise. That's how poor it was. So how can you explain that with Redbridge that had a very good educational system and Amari using the assistance of Sanazia and the benevolence of it because he was ready to share his knowledge with anybody. So if you're working under Sanazia, you're working under somebody that shares a lot. Did not just share maths at a level where difficult concepts can be broken down because of your level of interaction with him. So she was able to write her GCSE while at primary school and got into Woodford County High School, got into Latimer, and got into some other grammar schools in the area. And then from there, I would have relaxed to say, you've done your GCSE, now wait another 5 years. But with his encouragement, he gave her what is called P1, what used to be the P1, the first module of A-level, and she liked it. So she did her A-level in mathematics and computing in year 7 then. And it's very sad that up till now, at the end of 11, she passed her A-level computing, and up till now, nobody else has done it. Up till now, no girl has done A-level computing at attending an ordinary state school. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So if Sanazia was able to do it with her in 1990, and then she did the exam in 2000 and 2001. Surely, most of you girls here must not believe what they tell you in school, that maths and computer science and stuff like that are for girls. You should be able to rise above what anybody has told you and do science or do any subject that you love. Because the only person that can tell you how far you can go is what? Yourself. Because the divine has already deposited in you great gifts. So if you see somebody stirring up that gifts, you must work with the person and be able to work through. So I'm cutting a long story. Up to today, the principles that Amali was taught when she was 11, she's still applying it now at 24. That's how she became the youngest vice president of the Deutsche Bank, of any major bank in the world, based on the principles that was taught here, or taught then by Sanazia on Newbridge Road, and the philosophy behind learning. Nobody can tell you how fast you can go when you are learning. Some schools say, no, you are in year 7, you have to wait until you are year 8 before you do this, you have to wait until you are year 9 before you do that. Sanazia says, if you are ready now, do it now. So if you have that opportunity of being able to have no ceiling on what you can learn, or how you can learn it, then you must embrace it. If you embrace it, you know what will happen? You will get scholarships. And I said it earlier, 2 or 3 days ago to him, in a way of paying back to what he did to my family and to my girls, I explained to him, any girl here that tops the class in maths and or any of the science subjects, we will assist you in terms of exploiting what is available in Deutsche Bank, that you get a scholarship. Do you understand that? Any girl that works with the sciences or mathematics will be able to get a scholarship, not just to the university, but to visit the USA. That's what I'm saying that again now. So for the girls, you must listen very carefully. What your school is telling you about your ability is wrong. When you get home today, write it down. When they write, you are only year 7, you can only do this much, they are wrong. Anybody that tells you how far you can go is wrong. The only person that knows how far you can go is the person that made you. Do you understand that? A Peugeot car cannot tell a Toyota car how fast it can go, because both of them are cars. Do you understand that? The only person that can tell you how far the car can go is the person that made the car. So Peugeot will tell a Peugeot car how far it can go, Mercedes will tell a Mercedes how far it can go. The only person that can tell you that you cannot do GCSE in Latin at the age of 5 is your maker. Or you can't do computing at the age of 9 is your maker. Until your maker tells you that, any teacher that tells you that is jesting. You know what I mean by jesting? It's just making fun. So I'm hoping that in another year or 2, I'll come here to come and congratulate girls that are in year 7 doing year 13 work, and girls in year 8 doing year 13 work, so that you can prove to yourself that your ability is dependent on you. 1. 2, and the boys listen very carefully to this, there is nobody that can tell you can't read. You know, they say boys are very weak at reading, because what Sanazia didn't mention is Fabrice. How many of you support Arsenal here? Okay. Now, there was a boy, thank you, there was a boy in Marcus Road. You know Marcus Road in Waltham Forest? There's a school called Thamescott. There was a boy they brought and said, this boy is very, very bad. He can't do maths, he can't do English. And they put him in the bottom set. Any of you in bottom set? Okay. In your school, you're very lucky. In most schools, they put you in the bottom set. And when he came to Sanazia, he wrote his GCSE after 1 year from bottom set. And go to Kent to go and find out. His name is Fabrice Muamba. He played football for England. At the same time, he wrote his GCSE while he was in Kempsport ahead of his friends, because you are opened up when you come to best YouTube. Do you understand? you are not giving the limit, you're not giving a label. They ask him, do you like reading? They say no. Do you like math? They say no, I'm very weak. But when they found out, when we gave him more work to do and explained to him with patience, do you know what happened? His confidence went up. So today, the boys, when you get home, go and Google it. Fabrice Mwamba, and find out how many GCSEs he got, one, how many A-levels he got, and at the same time, he was playing football for England in every single category. So the fact that you are interested in sports does not mean that you cannot succeed if you have the nourishment. Are you all listening to that? And because of that, I've spoken to Fabrice, and one day, he's going to come here and speak to all the boys, all the people that support football, and let you know that if you can play football, you are very good at mathematics. Don't let anybody tell you you are bad at sports, or you are good at sports, therefore you are bad at academics. Do you understand that? If you are good in sports, it means that you were able to calculate how to play the ball. It means you were able to play the ball so that it doesn't hit the net. Are you listening? So all the boys here understand one fact. Your ability is self-determined. I mean, you determine your ability. Your teacher is only guessing how well you are in any subject. And then the last thing, if you don't speak English, or your parents don't speak English, most people think that you are dumb if your parents don't speak English. Do you know the truth? In fact, if you don't speak English, you are better because you have sound in a different language. So you can produce that sound. So don't let anybody tell you because you are first generation or second generation immigrant, you are not good. No, 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 no. If they say you are not good, Google our name and then you find out what I'm trying to say. Every student here, I'm looking forward to taking all of you to Oxford and Cambridge to go and see the colleges and see the institution and know that you are very, very qualified. In fact, you are more than qualified to go to Oxford or Cambridge. You are even qualified to go to Oxford or Cambridge 1 year, 2 years, 3 years ahead. So now I can tell you that. Because I'm married, my eldest girl got a letter to start a master's degree. She accepted Oxford sent her a letter at the age of 15. So don't you let anyone tell you that Oxford is too high for you. No, you're too high for Oxford if you are giving the assistance here. Because you're so high for Oxford, Oxford wants you to come and Cambridge wants you to come. And I will show you, up to now, in the Oxford University prospectus, her photograph is there. So I'm not just trying to encourage you. I'm telling you the truth as I know it and I've experienced it. So I'm hoping and I'll come back again when all the boys and girls that are thinking of doing something big, because if you have a good education, you know what happens? You have a good profession. If you have a good profession, nobody will look at your skin or your gender or where you are from. Everybody looks at your qualification. So I thank you very much for your assistance.
Okay, please one last item. Our student Amal Adam has written a very beautiful poem about best tutors. So just listen to a few lines.
Assalamu alaikum guys. Before I start, I'm going to talk about your mothers, alright? If you look around and you see that most carers here are the mothers. Look at this side, look in the middle, and look on this side as well. It's all your mothers are here. They have paid so much for you guys to get an education. You guys should pay them back by doing whatever you can to support your family. At this age, you shouldn't. At this age, you guys are still, still kids, still teenagers, but you should still do what you can to help them. My mom is actually, she's got a disability, right? And what she does is she stands, 16 hours every single time I come here. She sits down, waits for me to get an education. She spends all her money before even thinking about herself. She thinks about me and my little brother, and then she puts us first rather than putting herself first. in the morning, I actually did a speech for the ambassador, the Somali ambassador Abdullah Muhammad Ali, and well, you guys were upstairs, and I actually made all the parents cry, and you should ask them about what I spoke to them about. Right now, I will speak. I will read the poem that I have written for Sir Nazir, and I hope you guys like it. I'll be translating the one from Somali to English as well. Dr. Nazir, Allah Kudarajaya. Da'yatan o wahbare, Dr. Nazir, Allah Kudarajaya. Degree the Da'yatan Ehelayan, Dr. Nazir, Allah Kudarajaya. Da'yatan Somaliyat in Aidan Kan Darajat Kagaran, Dr. Nazir, Allah Kudarajaya. 3 important factors which we hope Allah blesses Dr. Nazir with. Firstly, the young age groups which he has supported and has also strengthened their abilities to do well in their education. Secondly, the various grades which he has helped many children to achieve. And thirdly, we hope the young Somali students become successful in this country and also in their homelands.
Okay, so you see, her mom is on crutches, and her disability did not hinder her child's progress. So if the mothers will be so dedicated that even they are disabled, sick, or whatever is the problem, they are carrying forward, definitely this will generate a great nation and great future, not only for Britain, but throughout the world. Now I will request you please just keep on sitting just for a couple of minutes. There will be, because you know my mom died on 19th of May, so there will be small prayer for her, and then the great professor will leave, so please let him leave peacefully, and after him, if you leave, that will be respect. So just 2-3 more minutes. So raise the hand, Bismillah, Alhamdulillah, ربنا ظلمنا انفسنا وان لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين اللهم اغفر لنا وميتنا وشاهدنا وغائبنا وسيدنا وكبيرنا وذكرنا وانثانا اللهم من احييته منا فاحيه على الاسلام ومن توفيته منا فتوفه على الايمان. Oh Allah, please bless all our dead relatives. Oh Allah, please make us good before our death. Let us do such good deeds that when we die before death, you should be pleased with us. Oh Allah, let us do such work that we should be the source of peace in our lives. We should be the source of peace for our parents, for our families, for our societies, for our cities, for our countries, and as a whole for the whole world. May Allah bless all of us and let us give the power to act upon. Jazakallah. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi.